O mundo real é complicado. Aqui, os problemas são tão complexos que nem sempre podem ser resolvidos apenas com lógica ou com softwares tradicionais. Para isso, precisamos de uma tecnologia que combina a capacidade de aprender com o poder de reconhecer padrões em grandes conjuntos de dados. Isso é machine learning. Parece ficção, mas é o presente. Por exemplo, o Google Tradutor, que traduziu Hemingway com tanta elegância que ficou difícil saber qual era a versão humana e qual a da máquina. Mais recentemente, o AlphaGo, do Google, derrotou o campeão mundial de Go, um jogo milenar e exponencialmente mais complexo que o xadrez. O impacto chega até o dia a dia das pessoas, como esse casal de fazendeiros idosos no Japão, que usou o machine learning para identificar e separar os vários tipos de pepino, o que antes levava o dia inteiro. A inteligência artificial está em toda parte, desde a detecção de fraudes online a carros que se dirigem sozinhos, nos ajudando a resolver problemas que antes eram impossíveis e transformando a vida das pessoas e empresas. As possibilidades são imensas, e isso é só o começo.
Hi, good morning. I'm excited to be here. I love coming to Brazil because I think all Brazilians are sexy. So it's a lot of fun to be here. I want to share something that I am incredibly passionate about today in the things that I want to say. And you've heard the theme of AI all day long, and you're going to see lots of different examples, and you're going to see common themes between all of us who are going to come up and share our excitement with you. But what I want to do is try and make it a lot more practical for the things that you have to do. So my objective today is sort of threefold. I want to scare you. I hope you are really scared by the time I'm done. I hope you are really inspired because of what we can do now that wasn't possible before. And my third objective is to make it very practical. Like, I want you to learn things that you can go back and do tomorrow. Because I think that we are already 12 months behind schedule when it comes to you changing. So I want you to start changing tomorrow. So three objectives. I was walking in Palo Alto in California with my wife, and this was on the side of a store in Palo Alto. Any useful statement about the future should at first be seen as ridiculous. And I love it. I love the audacity. There's nothing that quite frames the exponential nature of change that we're undergoing like this. So I thought I'll do my part in telling you what I think about the near future. I'm not smart enough to talk about the future. So here is something for you to consider as you go back to your office. Today, people think about artificial intelligence. Normally, most of you probably imagine things like this, and all the things that happen in movies. And for me, I'm not competent enough to opine on these things. And also, I think it's a very imprecise view of what I think AI can do. And so for me, AI is sort of much more accessible, practical, and useful. And I'll give you an example that I love and adore. At the moment, this is the number of pictures that we are taking as humanity. So this year, we're going to take 1.2 terabytes, trillion pictures, 1.2 trillion pictures. At the moment, in our hard drives, there are 3.95 trillion pictures sitting in our hard drives. And you can imagine that as you take so many pictures, sometimes it feels like all 3 trillion are on your phone. Right? So there's my kids, of course, and that's us at the Coldplay concert. There's my son playing and me giving blood, like all kinds of nonsense, right? Everything is here, and it's really difficult to figure out how do you get the best perfect moment at the time you need it. And so one of the things that I am very excited about when I think about AI is when I open my phone and I click on the search box, I get the places I've been to, there's my family, the most frequent pictures I take, and all these options. So I can go in and say, I want a picture of my son Chirag and me. So I click on his picture right here, and I just type it in. And of course, Google will go bring it for me. and it brings me a picture of him and me. Now, this itself isn't magical. What is magical is as I scroll through, so that's us at the Giant Stadium last week. That is us in Japan. This is us in Arizona, Croatia. And you will start to see that he is becoming younger and younger and younger. Now, can I tell you, like, this is fucking amazing, right? Like, it is insanely cool. Like, it can do this. Like, I have 2 kids. They kind of look the same. Right, they're my kids. and it is amazing to think, like, it can do this. It can keep track of him since he was a baby. And in a moment, it can bring his entire life on my phone without me having to do anything. Right? And of course, that's not all it does. I can just say my son plays baseball. So I can just say Chirag in baseball, and you'll find me every picture of him playing baseball. This is kind of what I think about AI and machine learning. And of course, it works everywhere. And it is just magic to me. Like, machine learning and AI is like magic. Roti is a Hindi word for bread. It's a bread that you eat in India. And I can go into my Google Photos account and just type in roti, and not even in English. And it helps me find the 3 pictures of roti, right? And the one I wanted is the first one. I wanted my kids holding up them as their elephant ears. And through tons and tons of photos across so many years, it found the picture I wanted in 2014 by understanding Hindi. Like, it translated into English, it then figured out that these things are that, and then it found it in my thing instantaneously. It is insane. It is just insanely cool, right? And that's kind of what I think about AI. And you might be wondering, what is the big deal about image recognition and logic? And let me give you how this technology transcends so many parts of our lives. So this is a farm in Salinas, very close to where I live. They grow lettuce. And the way that they farm is they have an army of people who go through and prune all the weeds out, and they make sure that every lettuce is a very nice one. It's a very labor-intensive process, right? But this is how they currently operate. And then there's a startup in California, very close to where I live, called Brew River, that has invented this machine. And this machine basically goes through the entire patch, as you can see it doing right now. And as it goes through, it takes roughly 5,000 pictures a second, every second. It analyzes every single plant, every dimension of the plant, and it understands every single thing you need to understand about lettuce. It knows which 2 lettuces are growing together, then one of them needs to get killed. Otherwise, the other one will not become big. It understands weeds. It understands all these things. And it surgically sprays the plants that need to live. And the plants that need to die, it inserts a tiny little thing, just like a drop of thing, and they die. Right? And in the end, this machine gives you a perfect field of lettuce every single time. No need for humanity. It makes 5,000 decisions a minute, right? It does 2.5 billion plants a year, one machine. And it's kind of doing the same thing as my Google Photos. There's a whole entire hardware component of it. Now imagine the sophistication of what is happening here. How much less water do we need? How many fewer people we need? How many fewer pesticides we need to put in? And the yields that we can get from every single field, massively, massively transformative. This is kind of what I think is exciting about artificial intelligence and AI. So one of the things I want to do is kind of simplify the terms. I think people use these terms very, very, in a very mixed way. So if you want to note anything, I just want you to understand these terms really well. So what is AI? And AI is just an intelligent machine. It's the simplest possible definition you can have, right? It's an intelligent machine. That's it. When people talk about machine learning, a lot of excitement that is happening at the moment. There are many, many, many different ways to solve for AI, tons and tons of different strategies. But the strategy that is the most exciting at the moment is called machine learning. And it's a subset. One way of solving the AI problem is to use machine learning, right? And it is the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. You don't have to tell the machine, this is a this is a woman wearing a blue jacket, right, with glasses. It just figures it out with enough data. That is what is very exciting. And then the way it does it is one way of solving machine learning is called deep learning. There are many, 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 many different ways to solve this problem. But at the moment, most of the advances that you are seeing happen in the world come from a technique called deep learning. And there are many, many, many different ways to solve this problem, right? I love the work done in counterfactual regret minimization. Our AlphaGo stuff uses reinforcement deep learning. So there are many, many different techniques. But at the moment, the most exciting one, the reason that AI went from vaporware in the last 5 years to actually reality is basically deep learning. And it's because it mimics. It is not the same as the human brain, but it mimics what happens in the human brain. So that's the first part, invest in learning. And the second part is build, right? And I'm really excited about the problems they can solve, because we have this machine learning platform in the cloud where you can access just world-class architecture for very, very affordable terms that they have. And at the moment, we have these clusters of solutions available to you. So you might have heard from our friends over at Amazon, right? And so they do speech recognition. They do video analysis kinds of things. Very, very exciting stuff that Amazon is working on. And what our team has done in our cloud is to figure out how to do an additional cluster of solutions that you can use to revolutionize the work that is happening inside your company. Anywhere you have a large collection of data at the moment, it should have somebody working on leveraging machine learning in order to figure out how you can be more efficient, intelligent, and have higher velocity, right? And at the moment, you can just use our cloud. Let me just give you one small example, just very tiny example of what we're enabling for you to do. Not in the future. This is last year. Old news, right? So you can use our large-scale machine learning service in the cloud. And here's a really simple problem that all of you have. I come to your website. I love Brazil. I would like to come and to go to stay in different places. And you will puke a bunch of stuff out at me, right? This is just crap loads of things. Now, I may only have one answer or 2 or 3 answers here. But at the moment, there's very little understanding of who I am, all this data that you have access to, all the data that other places have access to, in order to create these experiences. So in our large-scale machine learning service, we have this recommendation engine you can use. And so you take your data, feed it into our recommendation engine, and as simple as it is, it will spit back what should be the most personalized answer to every question for somebody you are touching digitally. And what we'll output will look like this. Even initially, it will go from like 60, 70 things and say, there's just these many answers for this person. And the more data they collect, the more that goes through the engine, you get one answer back. So there is a lot of data and things that are hidden inside your company, things that you are currently thinking in a very old way. And one way to increase velocity of your business in every facet that it has is to figure out how to use the cloud platform. You can use ours. I think it's really good. But you're welcome to use somebody else's. My goal is for you to go figure out how to build velocity inside your execution strategies every single day so you can go transform the world. So at the moment, every single day, we have access to millions of people and their behavior. And in that behavior, in the past, there would be this enormous amorphous glob. We would not understand who they are. But the cool thing is now we can take signals that you have, we can take signals that Google has, and we can begin to understand who are your current customers, who are people who have engaged with your digital business. We can then take these signals and go say, here are the most exciting people that you like. Let's go find 10 million more of them, right? Or let's go figure out, of all of these people who are expressing this much intent, which one of them are ready to buy something, say something, do something. And let's just figure out how to get you that access, right? So for example, this distinguishes, there are 2 queries. Chris and I could run 2 queries, right? The both queries would be Brazilian vacations. But when Chris runs his queries, Google has an understanding that not only is Chris typing this query, but he has recently watched a bunch of videos on YouTube about Brazil. He has actually read a bunch of articles about Brazil. And so his intent is a lot stronger. And when I type in Brazil vacations, I have no intent. I'm just fucking around. Right? And what Google can do is distinguish between Chris and I and say, if you are in the travel business in Brazil, you should only show up for Chris and not for Avinash. That's amazing, isn't it? Imagine the number of signals we have to access. And of course, we can use other old ancient signals like demographics and psychographics. It's a very small cluster where we don't have any signal and understanding of who the person is. This requires massive compute power, connecting tons and tons of data from all over the internet and the things that you have. But for millions of people, you have access to this, right? Across tens of millions of touch points. You heard Claudia and Fabio say just how many times we touch something in order to make a decision. It's like 300 something just for you to buy something that's over $100. It's insane, right? But we have access to wherever these people are. And now I'm really excited about the things that we're getting access from the assistant. We have access from virtual reality, augmented reality, and all these kinds of things. But you have access to tens of millions of touch points for every human that you have access to. And of course, every touch point then throws off billions of behavior signals. This list had like 3,500 things that I can understand about every single click I see. Isn't it insane? Fucking insane! How the hell do I understand this? I log into Google Analytics, I'm dead already. You manage your search campaigns with keywords. Here is a partial list of how the machine learning algorithm manages search campaigns. Somewhere in there is the keyword, somewhere. It takes all this into account. You could be the smartest agency in the world. You have no idea how to deal with this. I could be the smartest person in the world. You're right? There's no way I can handle this. This is what I'm excited about. It's a problem of millions, tens of millions, and billions. I'll give you one example, one really simple example of how this came together last year for a campaign that we were a part of. So this here is Red Roof Inn. They run a bunch of hotels around the United States. And they tend to be very close to airports. And one of the things that we realized from the data that we had access to is that there are 5,500 airports in America. Seems too many. But there are about 100,000 travelers that are stranded every single day because of flight delays. Every single day in America, 100,000 people go to an airport and don't get on a flight. Sometimes they also get dragged off it, but that's a different case. Right? These are flight delays, right? Weather, all kinds of things, cancellations happen, and there are flight delays. And we were trying to figure out, well, how do we take these signals and do something smarter with it? So we built an algorithm that goes in and gets all weather data in real time for all around the United States, all 5,500 airports that we have access to. Then we get access to the data from all the flights that are taking off in the United States, literally hundreds and thousands of flights every single day. And we connect those two things together. We have access to all of the data from Red Roof Inn, where they are located at the moment, and how many rooms are vacant in every single Red Roof Inn that is close to an airport. And then we use automated advertising strategies in order to create a perfect ad anytime we notice that there is a signal that we are getting that this person is standard, and we create this amazing ad for them. Every single thing you see here is done by our algorithm. No humans involved. We don't need you. I'm joking. We need you. Like the top part is really hard. But like every single thing, all done in real time, using access to all this data. And of course, you can imagine that when this happens, it leads to instantaneously like a 60% uplift in bookings for Red Roof Inn. Now, I want you to think about the campaigns you're executing for your companies and agencies. Right? Just a very small example. This isn't even millions and billions, like hundreds of thousands kind of range. This is what I'm excited about, what that outlines the future for us. So I want to, at the end of the day, the thing I remember from my MBA school, like always being the quest, right person, right time, right message. This is the problem we're trying to solve. And I've never been more excited that we can solve this problem with the kind of developments that we have access to. So I'm going to give you some examples in these two areas, this area that I love and adore, that you all know, but also how to use smarter marketing. So I have a cluster of things that you can go back and action and use right away, right? So here's the first example I have. So you all know that when you have access to analytics, you get pukes of data. And somebody has to figure out what the hell is going on, and then convince their boss, who will convince their boss, who will call the agency, and then have lunch, and then 5 days later, go back and decide to make a change, and then sleep with 5, 6 other people to get the landing page changed, and then 9 months later, something happens. This is how decision-making works today. right? I'm only exaggerating slightly. You all know it's the truth, right? But now when you log into Google Analytics on your phone, we have this intelligent assistant sitting and waiting for you. It analyzes all your data and understands all the patterns inside your data and automatically brings forth for you what you need to know. It helps you understand the patterns in your website, helps you understand which products are selling more, less, by how much, and then it tells you what to do with them. Right? It helps understand the entire I love this one. It says, there is a room for improvement of a page. It is my page on AI. I thought this is fantastic. The page I have, the worst one, is where I wrote about AI. This is very meta. Anyway. And then it understands the entire process and says, look, if you make a change here, you will have a 17x improvement on the bottom line. And you did nothing. You wake up in the morning, you have your 6-hour commute, you have espresso, and you know what to do. You did nothing, right? That is what I'm really, really excited about. Because in the past, this was the reality of our life. For many of you, this is the reality of your life, right? So most of your time collecting data, reporting it. Maybe if you have time left over, analyzing it. And in the world that we live in now, we change those numbers dramatically. But what I am excited about, like what I think you should have an orgasm about, is you can take half of your day and actually do shit. Make money for your company. Right? That is what I call smart analytics. Right? Take the same people you have, just use them better. So the second example on analytics, I have two examples. The second one I'm really excited about is that most of the time we think that this is how we make money. People enter discrete channels, and then they buy things from us. Of course, this is all a lie. People normally behave irrationally. And so any decision you make based on this is going to be a very sub-intelligent decision, right? And so sometimes this problem is called last click type thing, right? But what I'm really excited about is that this behavior is happening across devices in reaction to your TV, radio, print campaigns. It is happening online and offline. It's a very difficult problem to figure out how to solve. It's a very difficult problem for humans to solve. And in the past, we would just go in and say, across these millions of touch points, look, we'll give you this thing. We would tell you this is stupid. And go do one of these other things and figure things out. And what I'm really, really excited about is that first row. All of this is garbage, by the way. All these things, these 5 things are garbage, except that arrow. Right? I always joke to people that first click attribution is like you giving my first girlfriend all the credit for me marrying my wife. That's how dumbass it is, right? So don't use anything else. Just obsessed about the arrow. You click on that, and what that button does, it analyzes millions and millions and millions of touch points for your website across all of the data that you have, online and offline. And it helps you understand how exactly every campaign is contributing to your bottom line. It does it automatically, all machine learning. But this is not what is exciting. What is most exciting is now you can dump all this data into AdWords. You can dump all this data into DoubleClick. You dump all this data back into the platforms that you use from us. And you can use this data automatically to take action. Another place where we've gone from data collection, throw machine learning in the middle, and automated all the actions that you need to be taken. The pace, like you currently decide in days if you're really great, or you decide in weeks. This will all happen in real time. And it's going to be for free. You can all have access to it. I'm really, really excited. Because one of the big problems here is actually politics, not data. Oh, I have my email budget. I will hide it in my pocket. I'm the display person. How dare you bastard take my credit, right? A lot of it is politics and org structure. And the subtle thing that I'm really excited about application of machine learning here is that you get rid of politics and people. And you just let data speak for itself. And it makes your life easy as a company. It makes their life easy as employees, right? So the third example I have, I'm going to switch to marketing now, and those two were for analytics, is here's a really great problem to solve. At the moment, you are paying $50 for CPA, and you make $10,000, right? Some arbitrary person woke up in the morning, your CEO said, I will pay $50. You're like, OK, that's it. That's what we're going to do. No, but what would happen if you pay $100? What if $150? And most people solve this problem in a very wrong way. Because when you ask this question, the answer that comes back is that, yes, money! Of course, it's a very stupid way to think about it. Because the thing that really matters to you, the thing that really matters to us at Google is not this line. What matters to us is this line. And what is spectacularly difficult is to draw that line. It's really hard to draw that line. And we have algorithms now that will allow us to work with you to figure out what is the optimal point where you can make the most amount of money. So much money, it doesn't even show up on the graph. You can put any size of campaigns that you want, and you can see the difference between those two dots. Massive amount of profit. Not revenue, profit. So for example, we're working with one of our clients, Autobytel, in the US. And within 3 weeks, their profit with Google, not revenue, profit with Google were up 59%. That is the power of machine learning. We partner with you to understand your business. We take that intelligence back. We apply it across our millions, tens of millions, billions of data points that we have. And we help you figure out what is the best way you can make the most profit from Google. And this takes into account your online data. It takes into account your offline data. It takes into account all cross-device data, all of that stuff to draw that perfect graph that is so hard to draw. And so I'm really excited about it, right? Machine learning for profits, baby. This is the first thing you should do. Just make a lot of money. The fourth example I have is a really interesting one. So I don't know if many of you know, but 15% of the searches that come on Google.com every week we have never seen before in the history of humanity. Ever. Think of how long Google has been around. And yet 15% of the keywords and queries and questions people are asking us every single week, we have never heard before. And as a business, it makes your problem really complicated. Now, how do you make sure that for every single one of those queries that you're showing up if you are the right answer for that query? And so we've released this functionality where you guys come in and you tell us what parts of your business you would like to optimize, get traffic for, that are profitable for you. You tell us how much money you would like to make. And then you just leave, right? And we use dynamic search ads to automatically create, figure out what is the best ad. We automatically create the best targeting strategies across billions of behavioral points we have across tens of millions of touch points. And we can go back and automatically create everything for you, and in this case, drive very quickly a 26% improvement in conversion rates. So your life back at your company is so much easier. You worry about your business. You worry about making money. You worry about creating amazing experiences. You worry about solving your material business problems. You can go and build your AI army. You don't have to take all those smart people and worry about some stupid problem. Right? This can be automatically taken care of. So I'm really excited about it. And then I always think all data problems have 3 clusters: the known known, the known unknown, and the unknown unknown. This is solving the unknown unknown problem. You don't even know that the opportunity exists. And yet we can figure it out. And we can drive 26% improvement in profit for your company. Right? It's a very complicated problem to solve. We could not solve it before machine learning. Right? Here's the 5th example I have. So you remember this thing, right? That we have access and understanding of all of the people who you do business with today. And so you know OpenTable. Some of you know they make restaurant reservations in the US. You have such companies here in Brazil, many of them. And with OpenTable, we try to say, OK, we have a lot of opportunities, but we want to figure out how you can make love to people who love you the most. Right? And one thing we figured out in partnership with them is that there are different clusters of people that they have as customers. And the attribute that was common across people who are most profitable for OpenTable is they tended to be multi-city people. So this is a great breakthrough in understanding what is the behavior that is really interesting behind that graph. A lot of people can draw the graph. It's really hard to figure the answer out. And what we did is then we used our algorithms, millions, tens of millions, billions, to go back and target just those people and give them the perfect ad or the perfect piece of content, whatever platform they were on at Google, in order to answer their query. And that led to, in 3 months, to 20,000 of the people that they love the most to create the behavior that drove a lot of profit for them. right? Really, really simple problem. And so figure out how to embrace audiences. Don't look at cookies. Don't look at anonymity. Just try and understand how to understand audiences. And here's a second example, remember? It's like we can find your most amazingly beautiful, beneficial customers. But in the entire spectrum, we can use that data in order to figure out how to get to these people. Now, they're not your customers yet, but they share attributes, according to our analysis, that are in common with the people who are most precious to you. We even zero in and narrow down to the 20% of your customers that are driving 80% of your profit. And we can go find other people like that for you. And so when we did that with Royal Caribbean, it drove like a 20% of all non-brand conversions for Royal Caribbean today come completely using machine learning, by using this simple connection between their data and our data automatically. Right? The sixth example I want to give you is really exciting. I don't like cute things, but this car is really smart. and one thing I wanted to use the car for is like we have these campaigns that we call them smart display. And for me, it's like self-driving for your ads. That's why my cheesy car. Right? And what happens is you help us understand what target that you would like to have your CPA as. You help us understand what budget you have. And you help us give us creative assets that you have. So images, text, those kinds of things that you or your agency can produce in copious amounts. And then we end up figuring out how to use the data and signals that we have access to in order to take this and transform it into something truly magical. We will auto-optimize the creative. We will find the right person, right bid, at the right place. Let me give you an example of Google Photos. So one of the things that we wanted to do, our own campaign we wanted to do, is we wanted to get people to use a particular feature of Google Photos a lot. So over 250 million people have Google Photos, right? And so what we did is we tried to understand where people are, and what location they are in, what interests do they like, et cetera, et cetera. And we created a very customized ad. So if somebody was in New Orleans, we would have created a very customized ad for them that would purely be about New Orleans, and it would try and drive a particular action for them. Deeply, deeply personalized ad based on all the signals that we have access to. And then if it turns out that somebody is a mom, like babies are basically photo creators. They're only born to have photos created. Right? If it's a mom, we could have created a customized ad for the same problem for the mom. Right? Same call to action, same thing you want to drive, but we have a very deeply personalized experience for them. Or if somebody is getting married, another great place to get a lot of photos done, we will create a hyper-customized ad for them. So you can see the ad shows up in the right places. You can from kiss to cake. I love it. Anyway. You can click on the ad, you can expand it out, and it is hyper-customized to the person that is at the other end. Think of how hard this problem is to solve. This deep level of personalization and understanding and call to action. You're not targeting anonymous cookies. You understand the person behind using the billions of behavior signals that we have access to, right? And so using programmatic, for 5 of these moments, you see 3 of them here, we created 63 versions of the ads, all automatically. And here is the outcome. Simply, simply amazing, right? And this is what's possible, right? This is the hardest problem in the world to solve when it comes to marketing. Right person, right time, right message. And machine learning allows us to solve this problem for you at scale. The last example I have is that when you combine these things, it becomes really magical. So in this case, for one of our real estate customers, we took their cross-device data, merged it in data-driven attribution, put smart bidding on it, and then put it underneath our machine learning algorithm, and we achieved these outcomes for them. And it's not just for one of the top line across every single thing they do. And when they went on to apply on their finance clients, this is the actual hideous graph from them. I hate it. But can you see when they started using machine learning? Is it clear on this graph? Right? That is how fast the magic is. And so we have many, many, many different examples where you can use a collection of different strategies. When you start to put all these pieces together, the outcome is simply magical. This is how smart the algorithm was after 7 days. We always study for 7 days. But one of the coolest things about machine learning, remember, why is machine learning so great? It's using these deep neural networks, and they get smarter and smarter the more data you throw at them. And so here is the 28-day outcome. Amazing, isn't it? And unlike you and I, this thing is going to keep learning. Right? We have to go to sleep. It doesn't need to go to sleep. Right? And so we have lots and lots and lots of examples for you to think about. This is a campaign we did across multiple countries in Asia, and we figured out how to drive much more activations on our mobile ad platforms. Right? So I'm really, really, really excited that we can actually work all together in this room, smarter, not harder. So far, we have solved marketing analytics problems by just working harder. And what machine learning allows us to do is just work smarter, right? So let me give you a little peek into what I think is the near future when it comes to the AI revolution. At Google, we are not happy. We're not happy that it is taking us too long to create these deep neural networks. So we have started to build AI that creates AI. And we announced this at I/O, and we're really, really excited because it's going to bring a whole new level of velocity to the type of change that we can drive as a company for you, right? The second thing I'm really excited about is not AI, but AGI. This is the thing that freaks me out the most, personally. Because most of the AI that you've seen so far is very vertical. It does one problem. What is really cool about AGI, or some people call it true AI, is that artificial intelligence, actually general intelligence, is a machine that can successfully perform any intellectual task that a human can. So do you remember you've seen this all day long? You've seen the thing on the right, left all day long, the deep learning algorithm AlphaGo that is very good at playing Go. What you don't know is we use the same exact algorithm, threw it in a completely different space in our data center. We taught it nothing. We simply wanted it to optimize how much electricity the data centers use. And that same algorithm that was written for this problem reduced our cooling cost by 40%. We spend tens of millions of dollars in energy in these data centers. It's great for the environment. And this is really scary and exciting. We're going to start creating artificial general intelligence. And that's why this is Jürgen Schmidhuber. He runs a lab in Switzerland. And he said this the other day, and it blew me away. And I'm really excited about it. And you might think this seems insane, but it's really important to know that everything I have said to you is happening at a baby scale. So there are two reasons Mr. Jorgen believes this. Currently, we use 1 billion neural connections compared to the 100,000 billion that are in our cortex. But what is exciting is computers getting 10 times faster every 5 years. 10 times faster every 5 years. In 25 years from 2017. 25 years only. AGI will be comparable to the thing that the human brain does. And that is both scary and exciting. So when you go back to your job, I want you to think about how do you personally thrive in this space. And I like framing the problem this way. Machines are and will continue to be really good at frequent, high-volume tasks. You cannot compete with it. Whether you work in the movie industry, you're an accountant, you're a marketer, you're an analyst, if your job consists of frequent, high-volume tasks that you have been trained to do, you are done. I am done. Right? The thing I think humans, for now, I put the caveat, because I don't see that far. Chris might talk about it more, right? But for now, humans are going to tackle novel situations. Because there is sparseness in the data, there are gaps in the data, there's ambiguity, there's strategy, there are humans involved, the whole thing gets shit up, right? So go back and ask yourself, what is the distribution of the job you have at the moment? How much of it falls here, and how much of it falls here? I have spent the last couple of years figuring out how to go from here to And it means the one thing I had to get really, really good at is learn how to learn. And I hope that when you go back, you'll take that message and figure out where you want to be. Not because this thing is going to come no matter what. You might as well get on the train or you're going to get run over, right? So when you go back, the thing to remember is the past cannot be changed, yet the future is in your power. So I want to give you 3 calls to action in order to remember the AI revolution. If we started, all of us went and started a company today, it would be digital first, it would be human-centric, and it would be powered by AI. That's the company we would start, right? Not the company we work at today. Not even Google, right? This is how we would start a company. So I have 3 goals for you 1 year from now. 1 year from now, right? Figure out how to get 5% of your workforce trained on machine learning. 5%, that's it. Start creating your AI army, right? Second goal I have for you, 25% of your core business function should be powered by machine learning. So I showed you the possibilities in our cloud platform. You can do it for hundreds of millions of dollars cheaper, but figure out how to get your core business functions to be powered by machine learning. And lastly, the world that I live in, 50% of your digital marketing campaigns should be powered by machine learning 1 year from now. I actually want to tell you, you can do this today. You can actually do this today. The only thing required is will. But if you do these things, then you will crest on the wave, on the top of the wave that is coming, and take your company and yourself farther than you ever thought possible. Thank you.